Hello friends, I'm starting a new series called Chart Study. The intention is to share some interesting charts where we all can learn how to look at the charts and make a study based on the basic principles of VSA and Wyckoff. So the first chart we are going to look at is the chart of Moil. This stock is now exhibiting a typical Wyckofian accumulation zone and seems to be setting up to move to stage 2. First, let's look at the overall market structure of the stock on a higher time frame. Here I have the weekly chart here of the MOL stock. In this chart, I of course have some moving averages, which is like it is 1.5 months, and then I have the 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. These are the different moving averages I've plotted here. And you can see here the stock was going up. This is the stage 2 or the markup phase of the stock where the stock price is being pushed up. You can see it is being pushed up here. Then there was some distribution, and then the stock was being pushed down here, which is the stage 4 or the markdown phase of the stock, where the stock was pushed down almost 52% from the top. Then we see a typical accumulation phase here, a typical Wyckofian accumulation phase, or some people would call as stage 1. And you can see during this accumulation phase, the money flow had become positive, indicating people were buying into the stock. The money was flowing into the stock here. And in the later part of the accumulation phase, we saw the relative strength is also becoming positive here. And in a typical accumulation zone, the volume would remain low, and it is also, you can see here, typically the volume had remained low. Now the stock seems to be attempting to move out of the accumulation zone or trying to enter into stage 2 or the markup phase. Now let's look into a lower time frame, that is a daily time frame, which would give us more clues on where we are on this stock. Here I have the daily chart of MOL. I've zoomed into the accumulation zone to have better clarity. In a typical Wyckofian accumulation zone, initially you would see a lot of volatility, volumes, erratic. This all is done till the last of the retail public is thrown out, or the retail holding is thrown out. As you can see here, initially you can see the big up move here, then some sideways, and there's a typical down move here, and the volumes were also high in those two places. So by the end of this wave, most of the retail holding would be thrown out, and then now the smart money can start accumulating here. Here you can see the buy and sell waves have sort of settled down, and there's no apparent dominance here. Here it's all quite low, and the volume also has dwindled a lot, most of it remaining much below the average volume. But what gives us the clue is the buying pressure here. You can see the whole buying pressure here. Lot of buying happening here, but you don't see much up or dominant up moves and dominant down moves here. It's mostly moving sideways quietly, and the smart money is here accumulating. It's a clear indication of smart money accumulation going on here. And here we have a typical Wyckoffian spring. This is where the big gap down opening would throw most of the retail public out, and then the stock starts moving up, and still the buy and sell waves are still low, but the stock is start moving up here and sideways. And this is a typical low volume test. This is where the supply is tested here, and it is very clear that it is a successful low volume test, indicating that all supply has drained out. So you can see the next bar is a gap up opening, and then the stock starts moving up, and now it has gone above the 200 DMA, which is a basic criteria, for us the stock to be on the uptrend or the positive or the bullish mode. And it's also above the 50 DMA and also the 20 DMA here. So it has gone beyond all the short-term moving averages and the long-term moving averages, and you can see the relative strength is also becoming positive, and you can see here the buying waves are becoming stronger, the buying pressure is still there, the volume has started increasing here, and this is inching out of the accumulation zone here. So it is trying or setting itself up for moving into the stage 2 or the markup phase. But we need to see a lot of volume coming in to push up the prices much further or launch the stock into phase 2 or the markup phase. So we need to see the volumes coming in here. A very high volume up bar, wide up bar would be a trigger to put the prices up on the higher trajectory, and that would be the point of interest for most of us. So this is a very good chart which depicts the typical Wyckoffian accumulation range, and we need to keep it on our watch list. So it could give us an interesting up move from here. I hope you learnt something on how we can study a chart on the basis of VSA or on Wyckoffian principles. I thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, I would be able to come up with more interesting charts for you to study.